Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another live edition of Jacob's Ladder. I am your host, Jacob Israel, and I am glad that you're all here. Last time I tried to do a live stream, we had some issues. So I'm hoping that today everything goes okay. Otherwise, I'll just have to do what I did again last time. But I feel like this is an important show. So I feel like it's one of those shows that, well, we need to, we need to pay attention to. It's a very exciting time. I mean, for crying out loud, tomorrow is the inauguration, and a colossus of an inauguration it's going to be. It's coming full circle. If you're new to the channel, this is something that all of us here, all of the Israelites, L-I-G-H-T, have been waiting for. This is what we've been praying for. A lot of people, are very uneasy about the days to come. A lot of people are very concerned about what's going to happen. Me, myself, I'm trusting in God because, my goodness gracious, if there are not a lot of coinky-dinky-doos that are confirming that we're exactly where we're meant to be. I just don't know what that means for tomorrow. And if you saw my last show, you probably know that, well, there's some things that we could be a little concerned about. We want to see a new day, okay? We know that my favorite character in the apocalypse is Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. And I've compared him to a couple of different people in the Bible. One of them being Nebuchadnezzar. All the way back to that dream that I had before he lost the first election, where I told everybody he was going to lose the election. To right before the inauguration, where I said to everybody, it's Nebuchadnezzar's dream, where a stump is going to be left in the earth and he's going to be back stronger than ever before. And here he is. So we got to get into this. He held a victory rally in Washington ahead of the inauguration. Who saw it? Tell me in the live chat. We got a lot of people here already. Do me a favor and smash the live stream and thank the Lord. Thank you, Lord. I was praying because I've had issues with the computer and I felt like this was a super important show and I wanted to be live with you. And here we are. Put the show at 9/11 for a reason. September 11th is a big deal. It was a moment that everybody was fixated on. The twins came down, a symbol of the duality of man, right near that golden bull of Wall Street. If you remember in the Old Testament, they worshiped the golden bull and twin tablets of stone were thrown to the ground and around 3,000 people were swallowed by the earth. It's nothing new under the sun. And you're going to find that with this inauguration tomorrow, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be sussed out that is also connected to Scripture. And already, now that he's holding this victory rally in Washington, already there are thousands of people lined up protesting this. This is not a great thing. And it makes us a little concerned. I mean, for crying out loud, right? It's not like the last 3 to 4 years have been so wonderful, right? This has probably been the hardest and worst time that I can remember in our country. It's all gone to hell in a handbasket. And now we have hope. Or do we have a change? Something I've been saying for a long time is that everything's going to be changed. There's going to be a flip. It's not going to be the way it used to be. It's not going to be the way. Michelle Alexander knows. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. It's not going to be the way. The world we knew, it's over. But I'll tell you, the fireworks display was incredible. It was incredible. And let's see if I even have it up there. Let me see if I can pull it up right now. Give me a second. I mean, it was really just a remarkable display. And it just made me feel all American. I don't know about you. At the end of this little presentation, you may find that, it's going to be stressful. It's going to be stressful. By the way, if you want to follow me on X, there you go. This is something that I've been concerned about. Batman, election night, where he ends up sacrificing himself for everybody else. But the fireworks display was incredible. Just take a look at this. Let me just wear this up. This is Ivanka. I mean, come on. It does for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I want everything to go smooth today because this is one of those shows that by the end of it, it's going to be, you probably get the chills. I got the chills putting it together when I saw this great big statue that is going to be showcased called the Colossus. A big bronze, which is gold, a bronze statue. Oh, my goodness gracious. What a day we're in. Well, what are the odds? Navigating the line on X, I don't know, it just popped up in my feed. It says, what are the odds that he is swearing in below the apotheosis of Washington inside the rotunda? Now, you probably remember that Trump has been compared to Washington many, many, many times. Okay? There was that great meme of him, like Washington crossing, but this time it was a swamp filled with moss and everything else. You probably remember that dream that I shared. If you don't remember, I'm going to play it for you in a moment because it's all connected and it's going to all line up to where we are now. What are the odds that Trump swearing in is taken? I said pretty good, okay? The rotunda is also where 33's attempts to resurrect the seed of Osiris. That's what I was saying to you. But forget about all that stuff. To the right-hand side of the screen, if you take a look, you'll see that that is President Washington, and he is draped in purple, okay? And this great work has been, photographed and shared, and it is, if you've ever been there, I haven't myself, but they say that it is one of those experiences that you will never forget. And I'm telling you, this inauguration is also one that you will never forget. Jeez Louise, what a day we are in. What a day we are in. So, let me take this piece by piece. So, the fact that he's, the inauguration's going there and people are scrambling last minute to try to get a view of this. Everybody wants to see this. My goodness, he's now, where he was the most hated, now he is really the most beloved. I will say a majority of people because, he won. Hands down he won. And a lot of people are even calling into question, how even honest that election was. Well, this one doesn't really matter, does it? Because now we are here. We are here, and it's been a long way since when he lost the last time. Now, I want you to do me a favor because I'm not sure if this is going to work, okay? Because I haven't done this in a while. I'm going to just switch this over. I want to just show you. I want to show you this video that I shared a long time ago, okay? Now, this was before the 2020 election. And I'm going to play this and, bear with me if you don't hear any sound. Let me know and... it'll be what it is. I'll try it a different way. But I want to play this for you because I believe that this is going to be significant. Before the 2020 election, I warned that they may fake the outcome, which a lot of people say they did. On election day, I actually tweeted out what happened. The following years, I told everybody we'd be biding our time until Trump is calling the shots again. God speaks to us in dreams, but who listens? And here we are, and I reposted this back in January 2020. But I think we should take a listen to this right now and just see where it goes, okay? Because this is going to set the stage for us. All right, take a listen. So I have a dream. It's a very strange dream. I don't pay much attention to it. In the dream, and it was a couple of them, but this one was the one that stood out the most. In the dream, I, for some reason, was like with one arm was carrying like the casket of our president. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but it was open. But on the left-hand side of me, there was our president. So it was very strange. There was like, it was one in the casket with the casket wide open. There was also, I remember there being like, I noticed there was moss on the bottom of the casket, moss that was growing there. But in the dream, the president was smiling, he was laughing, he was having a great old time. And here I am carrying this and I didn't understand. I'm like, oh, and then I woke up and I'm like, oh, I get it. It's going to be like a fake thing, right? So So I have a dream. It's a very strange dream. I don't pay much attention to it. In the dream, there was a couple of them, but this one was the one. The rest of the show is going to be perfect for everybody, I promise. These are the kinks that work out when you get your computer fixed. They're just little kinks. Things like this happen. So that was before the election, okay? That's interesting, right? Because he was dancing. And now we know that that dance, the Trump dance, became very popular years later. And I'm telling you, he's going to be dancing again if everything goes okay, which is what I'm praying for. Because you got prophets, right? Now, you know that here I'm a speculator, right? I definitely believe that I serve God. I try my best to share the truth of God. I do the best that I can, but I'm not going to come on here and say that I'm a prophet or anything else. Look, I've had a lot of hits over the years where I have a vibe and then I say, oh, I think this is coming next. Oh, and then boom, something happens. And I give glory to God because it's not me. I don't know what I'm doing. I had a dream. I can't control the dream. Just turns out that it kind of seems to be true, doesn't it? Doesn't it now? Now here he is coming back, and we have something that's interesting. Because in the dream, there was moss, and we understand that moss had to do with like some kind of a political death, swamp moss. But now he has a new cryptocurrency that he just launched called Strump. Well, it's not really Strump. It's the $ Trump. It's a huge meme. It's making a ton of money. And it's also making, showing us that maybe people aren't really sincere, that either they're complete hypocrites or they have no real moral compass when it comes to, if I'm going to tell you this guy's a bad guy, then I'm going to perform at his big victory celebration before the inauguration, which is Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg, who did a video, ironically, 88 months before the assassination attempt on President Trump's life. 88. 88 is like a very significant number, where he held that prop gun where it said bang and he called him Ronald Frump. And we know how McDonald's is so connected to President Trump's presidency right now, where he went and he was handing out fries. This is so interesting. But you know what else is interesting? On the channel, I've talked about how the Exodus is something that's coming, that we're going to be, it's going to be very much like when Israel was set free from Egypt, the Exodus that takes place. And that the old system, right? God says, let my people go. The old system, they didn't listen. They wanted to keep us as slaves. They wanted to keep telling us what we needed to do. The question is, are we going to be set free, or is it going to be a whole new set of rules? I don't know. But I do know that in the background, remember, release the Kraken, the Kraken, the Kraken. You know what the Kraken is, by the way? The Kraken? It was a punishment of the gods. It's another word for sort of like Satan being released on the world. It's kind of like, the Kraken isn't exactly the best. Releasing the Kraken isn't the best, but Kraken was right behind Snoop Dogg when he was performing. You could thank Travis Seebeck, the Israelite. That is, he's a good friend. And he shared this with me and he goes, oh, look at the background. And ironically, it was 188 days I posted the picture of Snoop saying that this is not good. I said that this isn't good. Why wasn't, anybody who does a video that like glorifies something like that? This is the president of the United States and you're doing something like that. So the question is, why wasn't he, held back? Why wasn't he? And he was saying so many terrible things about Donald Trump. He even said, if you look at the bottom, Elon just posted this, how the vibe shift is real. In 2017, he said you'd have to be an Uncle Tom to perform for Donald Trump, and then here he is. He also, just a little while ago, was really just bad-mouthing President Donald Trump. But here he is, performing. Now his fans are upset. This is all very symbolic, and it's all working together for a greater good, I believe. This is strange, Snoop clearly never liked the Trumpster, okay? Clearly he had. What is he doing? What is he doing playing? So can we believe that maybe? Can we believe What did he do? He's like, oh, I see the tide's turning. Remember I said the tide was going to turn? The tide's turned, everybody. And I'm a little concerned. Now, why am I a little concerned? Because for a long time, from when this first happened, if you go to my main page, let me just show you, just so you can get an idea. If you go to my main page, you'll see right here, pinned on November 6th, I put up, congratulations, President Trump. I pray this matter is settled. Together we can come together as a people, one nation under God, and we can see true positive change. This really has been a wild ride, and it may not be over, so stay buckled up. I'm worried. But you know what else is quite interesting? Was that I did say, okay, this was before the inauguration. I said that this is as Nebuchadnezzar's return, or this is as the biblical story of Nebuchadnezzar. Take a listen to this, and you tell me if this isn't just incredibly freaky. Remember, this was before Biden's inauguration, when everybody was saying that President Trump, oh, this is so terrible. He came back like a champ. He's doubled the amount of money that he's worth. He owns a social media network. Now he's the most powerful man in the world. He brought peace. He's done it all, just like I thought. Take a listen. Let me just make sure I don't blow your ears out now that we got this under control. In order that all who live may know that the Most High is sovereign over the kingdom of mortals. He gives it to whom he will, and he sets over in the lowliest of human beings. He gives the kingdom to whoever he wants. No matter how great you think things are, no matter how strong the tree is, when it's told to be cut down to the ground, there's a reason. But the root is still there. The story of Nebuchadnezzar, whether it's the story of Donald Trump or not, it is one that we need to heed. Because in the story, he does become like a beast. And I don't want you to become like a beast, you know? Like, I don't want it, and Daniel didn't want it either. It wasn't like he was a big fan of the guy. Nebuchadnezzar wasn't exactly a righteous, holy man. Didn't really say whether or not, but he's like, please, hopefully this dream is about your enemies and not you. Because you're going to lose everything in an instant. But if you repent, if you say, you know what, Lord? Change my heart. Let me serve the people. Let me be a righteous leader. Because that's what ends up happening in the end. Nebuchadnezzar sees that it is the Lord that gives and the Lord that takes away. It is God who blesses and God who curses. It's the Lord that does all of these things. So serve the Lord and you're going to be okay. Love your enemies, even your enemies, as God loves you. Because in so doing, it's like a restoration of your own soul. We got to forgive. We got to be kind. And we got to understand that the old world is gone. There's a new world. There's a new earth. There's a new heaven. And we're entering into it. So when that period of judgment was over for Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar lifted his eyes. It's very symbolic of when you lift your eyes, you're putting your sights on more than yourself. And we all could do that. And my reason returned to me. He started to realize, he's like, oh yeah, that's right, that God. It's time to serve that God. It's not to be corrupt anymore. And I blessed the Most High, and I praised and I honored the one who lives forever. And his sovereignty is an everlasting sovereignty, and his kingdoms endure from generation to generation. All the inhabitants of the earth are accounted as nothing, and he does what he wills with the host of heaven and the inhabitants of the earth. There is no one that can stay his hand or say to him, what are you doing? What's going on here, Lord? Nobody can say this. Nebuchadnezzar says, at that time my reason returned to me, and my majesty and my splendor were restored. When you start to serve God, when your reason returns to you, your splendor and your majesty, it's restored. And the glory of my kingdom, my counselors and my Lord sought me out. I was reestablished over my kingdom. Why? Because he humbled himself. And he remembered the Lord, And for the first time, after seeing everything that was taken from him, the Lord gives it back to him because he is going to now serve God. Now, I can't say the same for his kids. We'll get into that another day. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol the honor the King of heaven. For all his works are truth and his ways are justice, and he is able to bring low those who walk in pride. In order, King Trump, just like Nebuchadnezzar, back in business. Back in business. I should have did like the dates in between, because you know me and the dates. My wife tells me last night, she's like, it would be better if you didn't tell people the dates because you lose people with the 111s and the 222s and the 33s. It is what it is. But that's, listen, a stump. A stump. This is crazy. A stump. And that's what the name of his crypto is. What about them apples? A stump would be left. Now, there's his cryptocurrency that was just launched, the Strump, which, by the way, if you try to Google Strump, usually comes up, it looks like stump. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with a brand of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field. After that, he becomes like a beast. You don't want to be doing the wrong thing. You don't want to be doing the wrong thing, so long as the world goes in the direction that I pray that it's going to go. This is the judgment, right? Two sets of individuals, one to everlasting righteousness and peace and hope, others to condemnation, eternal condemnation. That means a period of time of judgment. He's been talking about like 1,000 years. Well, there is the 1,000 years that the devil sent upon us, and there's the 1,000-year reign of Christ. I think I'm the only person that ever said, is it possible that this happens at the same time? Are we in that 1,000 years of correction and reward? Could be. Do you know what a band of iron and brass is? It's tight. We're going to keep a tight belt on this stump. Now, you know what's weird is I put in Strump, and Moss AI says that Strump is now available on Moss AI. That's weird. It's weird because of the dream with the moss and everything else. But that's not all. I did say he was going to be back. He is back. Some people, this is the thing. For many years, and I think that maybe my thumbnails are the problem, because it looks like, if you look at the thumbnail, it can, depending on the lens on which you view it, it can look like I'm saying, oh, that's it, the Antichrist is here, or, oh, that's it, the Messiah is here. It's through the lens of the person that's viewing. All I'm doing, like my last show was like King David lynched, ED, because David Lynch passed away. Twin Peaks. Dune, my last show. If you haven't seen it, go under videos and watch it. It was a really good one. Tied a lot of stuff together. But 9/11. David Lynch was huge on 9/11. Trump connected to 9/11 in a huge way. Remember the commercial with the mattresses? Serta with the sheep? 9/11. Trump's also connected to Grimace. Now, you know that Grimace originally was known as the malicious beast. The malicious beast, Grimace, evil Grimace, is how Grimace was originally known. Grimace is purple, by the way. And you know what, Grimace, every time that Grimace comes on the scene, and it's been pretty accurate. Remember the thing with Luigi Mangione? Right before that, Grimace was in the parade riding the big red shoe, and I said, uh-oh, Grimace is coming. There's a shakeup that's coming to New York City. And boy, did it. How many times has Grimace done something or appeared somewhere? Just recently, he was featured in some kind of a Texas baseball game where the Grimace magic did its thing in Texas. So I've had my eye on Texas. I know it sounds a little weird. I want to do comedy about this, because this is why I don't get invited to many barbecues, because I start talking. I'm like, did you see Grimace? Well, you know what Grimace put out yesterday? Now this is freaky. Okay? Because everything's 9/11. Even Alex Jones is jumping on the time travel Back to the Future. The whole thing. Time travel's probably a thing, okay? Something that I've covered for a long time. You know me with the Mandela effect, right? So time travel's been something I'm very interested in for a long period of time. Alex Jones is on it right now, where supposedly, 9/11 was an event to get everybody focused on a certain thing. And it has to do with changing timelines. We entered into Bizarro World. It's been like Bizarro World, hasn't it? Wouldn't it be nice to get back to a sense of peace? Is there a possibility that this could happen right now with President Trump? Well, if he's going to be in charge, maybe God has plans for us after all. Because, God places the rulers that are in charge. God does. Doesn't mean that it's going to be great for everybody. We had Biden. Who do you think put Biden there? Doesn't matter if men are behind the scenes plotting and planning. Man can say, this is where I'm going, but it's God that directs the steps. Everything is inspired. People don't even know why they do the things they do. But Grimace put this out. Me with 3 E's pretending I don't see the Grimace Shake trend. Remember the Grimace Shake? I talked about the Grimace Shake, how spooky it was, where everybody would drink the Grimace Shake, and it was like a trend where everybody was then turning into zombies and dying as if they were poisoned or murdered. Remember that? That wasn't a good thing. That was a spooky thing. Very, very spooky, the whole thing. But you know what he reposted? The puppet. You know what McDonald's? The arches, which, by the way, right now we got the planets in an arch. We got Comet Atlas heading to the sun. We have all of these supernatural events happening right now at the most significant time in my history. I'm 53. Is it going to be a jubilee? Is it going to be? I think there's a possibility for it. I just don't think that the world that we know, I think it's over. Monetary system, over. Everything's changed. It may not look like it's changed on the surface, but it's changed. Our country is changed. There's going to be a new order of things, right? They got that 2030 agenda thing. But who's allowing it? Trump is actually going to be at the, he's going to be at the forum. He's going to be, jumping on with a call. And then a lot of people are like, oh, he's doing this, and oh, he's going to bring out Warp Speed 2, and he's going to do this, and he's going to do that. And what I've always said was, I'm like, Lord, please, if you bring him back, change the man's heart. Do like you did with Nebuchadnezzar. Do like you did with Nebuchadnezzar. I don't want him to be a beast. Do you want him to be a beast? Grimace is the evil, malicious beast. That's what Grimace is. Now, he writes, I'll never forget you. I'll never forget. Do you know what I'll never forget is most commonly associated with? Take a wild guess. You don't have to. It's right on the screen. I know. 9/11. Never forget. It's a rallying cry for the victims of 9/11. I'll never forget. Why is Grimace putting out something connected to 9/11 just like a day before the inauguration? And then Trump shows up wearing a purple tie? Purple is the color of like divinity and royalty, right? Strange. Yeah, so he came in wearing that purple tie. He was rocking it. Rocking the tie. Never forget. And here's the weird thing. Do you know, let me see if I can show this to you. Do you know that during his, okay, maybe he does, we don't have that. Let's see if I can find it. Give me a second. Do you know that when he was at his, here we go, right here. Let me make sure that it's turned off. Okay. So during the fireworks and everything else, Shadow of Ezra is a great channel to follow. I don't know him personally, but he has some good stuff. The event concluded with a song, Nessun Dorma, which is featured at the end of the movie Sum of All Fears during a scene where the deep state traitors are executed. And he says Trump is sending a message. My goodness. Sending a message indeed. Man, this is an exciting time to be alive. I hope that the Lord shines His favor on me, because I'm not that comfortable with everything that's going down. I don't really know exactly what's going to happen, but I am concerned about tomorrow, and I don't think I'm the only one. I think a lot of you probably are concerned as well. It's just one of these things where, my goodness, if you're not a productive member of society and you're not doing the right thing and you're standing in the way of change, the change that's coming, you're going to get steamrolled. Is Trump going to come in and lock up all his enemies and everything else? I've compared him to Jehu. He's the biblical king who, much like Donald Trump, he had an army behind him. He wasn't like the best guy, or, he's kind of like a Nebuchadnezzar type. He wasn't the best or whatever, but he was told, he said, you're going to be the guy that's going to get rid of all the crap. You're going to get rid of all the Baal worship. You're going to go in and you're going to make them all think that you're on their side. So what Jehu does is he goes to the World Economic Forum and he goes to these people, anybody, Bill Gates and all them. He brings all the people together in one place, gets rid of them all in one moment of time. And then he turns that place into a toilet. This is historic fact. He wipes out Baal worship in the land. God doesn't want people to be committing idolatry. Lisa Gordon just put out something interesting. Thank you for the super chat. Never forget can also be holding a grudge. I'll never forget you. That's very true. That's very true. It seems like, as Lisa is saying, that maybe evil is rewarded today. Wouldn't it be nice if it wasn't anymore? Wouldn't it be nice if we saw a change? Now, here's where the show you're going to get some goosebumps, okay? You're going to get some goosebumps because it's really freaked me out. Last night, I woke Danielle up, the Dan up, and I said, oh, you got to look at this. You got to look at this. 11123 11130. I did an essay called A Warning Ignored, based on a dream that I had, in 2015. Well, actually, the dream was in 2015, but it was a follow-up to an essay I wrote in July. But it was called A Warning Ignored, and it was about everything we're about to see tomorrow. Ironically enough, I've been waiting for a gigantic golden statue because in the dream, it was daytime, thousands of people were there behind gates all around me. I was standing in the center of it. In front of me, I saw a huge statue in the distance that reminded me of Nebuchadnezzar's dream that Daniel interpreted. This idol stood tall, overlooking all of Israel. I stood in the center of this open-air plaza, noticed thousands behind me. They were anxious to see the presentation. Now get what kind of presentation this is. I understood the dream that everyone was there to watch what many in Christianity would call witchcraft, wizards. It was a presentation of Harry Potter 3. In 2015, I had no clue how wizards and magic would have anything to do with a holy dome building in an open-air plaza where a bunch of Americans are behind gates, and then the gates come down and everybody comes rushing in. And you know what I saw? There was a guy who came up to me and he had this laptop, and he opened it up and it was red and it was bubbling and it looked like a bomb. I was told it was a bomb. On the channel for years, I said, oh, maybe this is symbolic. Maybe we don't have to worry about something terrible happening. Right, Glenda? Thank you for the super chat. By the way, all of you that support the channel, I appreciate that. You know the best way to do it? If you don't want to support financially or give me a super thanks or a super chat or support me on Patreon or PayPal or any, in the description of the video, all you do is click on it and you can go in there. I'm more than 50%, probably 65% supported by all of you, okay? And I'm hanging on by a thread. So I'm grateful to all of you. I thank you, Glenda. I thank you, Lisa. I thank all of you that take the time to do that. But all you got to do is like it, share the channel around, make sure you're subscribed, check the channel out if you haven't gotten notified. It's not like YouTube's always telling you, right? I'm trying my best, and I'm hoping that it'll get around. But here's the weird thing. From that essay, it was 111 months, 23 days. 111, is, it's two things. It's the three pillars in Freemasonry. You know, the pillars of the temple. Okay, Boaz, and we'll get into it another day. 23 being that special symbolic number. You know, Michael Jordan and all the big celebs have the 23. It's a symbolic number. I think it like works out to 666 somewhere. Which ironically, if you look at the stump, I think that the total supply of it is 999.99 million for Trump. So turn that upside down. Think what you want. But there is a gigantic now, based on this dream, there's a gigantic statue called the Colossus. Now, I've covered this statue before, the Colossus statue, okay? It's a giant bronze Trump statue that is unveiled. That's DC Drano. You know, he's a big Trump supporter. And he says, Ohio artist, Ohio. You know what Ohio is? If you say Ohio gozaimasu. It's like good morning, I think. Ohio artist creates Don Colossus, a 15-foot tall, $1 million bronze statue of President Trump that will tour the country before eventually ending up at the future Trump Presidential Library. And he says we should put one in every state. We probably will, right? But do you know Colossus is a couple of other things? Do you remember the poem by Emily Lazarus? The Rising from the Dead? Time travel. Colossus is, you know, it's the Statue of Liberty on, what is it called? Ellis Island? It's also, you probably remember me doing a show about Elon's Colossus supercomputer, the project. His AI cluster named Colossus after the 1970 movie about a massive supercomputer that does not end well. He wrote, this weekend, the AI brought one Colossus, 100, Anyway, Colossus. Take a look at the statue next to it. That's Nebuchadnezzar's statue. That's coincidental, right? I mean, is it just me? I think it's very coincidental that all of a sudden there is a golden statue, considering thousands of people in attendance behind gates at a dome building where there's a statue and they're about to see a wizard production. Come on! And everybody's going crazy about Brandon Biggs and everything else. Forget about the people that say they're prophets. Forget about the people that go to God. God will reveal stuff to you. Always does. Always has. All right, let me pull this up because I want to play this clip for you. You know, this whole thing, it's been quite a ride, hasn't it? It's been quite a ride. And, you know, at first I was very nervous. I got to be honest. I was very, very nervous. But then somewhere along the line, you know, when I started talking about Samson and I started talking about the judgment that was coming, remember I told everybody about the Samson fires, the fires that were coming? I put a test out. Fires will come everywhere. And then we had the lady on fire in New York, and they were talking about fires being lit, and then the fires in LA. All of this stuff literally playing out, spiritually being revealed. And I'm a nobody. What do I know? You know? I'm a nobody. Somebody called me a celebrity the other day. I'm like, really? Really? My son at the mattress store is making more money than me right now. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm very grateful to be able to come on here and talk to all of you. Okay, so here is the huge quinky-dinky-doo. All right, and I'm going to play it for you. I'm just going to read this to you first. Huge quinky-dinky-doo. Let me pull this over. Now that I know that I'm so happy that I got the live streams under control again. I really do. Man, that broke my heart when I tried to come live to you twice, and it just like was all glitchy and all, and I tried it and I rebooted the router and everything else. Turned out I had to do an update on my computer after I got it back. So here we go. All right, so listen to this, because this is going to be, this gave me such, I said, huge quinky dinky doo. Did I dream of Trump's inauguration and the Colossus statue? 111 months, 23 days before his inauguration, I shared a dream on my website about a huge golden statue of a man people called the Lion that stood tall at a dome building overlooking thousands in attendance. Today I see a golden bronze Don Colossus statue I'm a little freaked out. Next, now here's the weird thing. This video that you're looking at right here, I shared that 1 year, 11 months, 30 days before the inauguration. And check a look at the title of the video. Nebuchadnezzar's end dream fulfilled at the inauguration. Is that going to happen? Is that going to happen? Are we going to have a new heaven and a new earth? God, I hope so. God, I hope so. I believe so. I believe so. But, you know, this dream was very concerning. And do you know why it was concerning? Because somebody brought, a bomb into it. And now, thankfully, in the dream, I didn't have a dream of any kind of an explosion. But this is going to freak you out. Take a listen to this. And thank you so much. See a lot of people saying I should have a lot more subs. You know what? I should. And the only reason why I don't is because, well, maybe YouTube isn't recommending it enough. Maybe I'm a little bit hidden, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you can't find me on Google. You know what matters is you. You need to share the channel around, tell people to watch. If you think I should have it, do me a favor and share. I know D's Nuts does. Do like these nuts and share my videos around. All right, let's take a listen. I didn't know. I just knew that there was a dome behind me. I knew where I was. And thanks to Mark, now it's ironic, because I looked at a picture, this picture. And I go, my goodness, that could be where I was standing some 5 years ago in this dream that I had, by the way, exactly 2 years from the Revelation 12 sign. The September 23rd, 2017, the Revelation 12 sign. Exactly 2 years I have this dream. And I'm standing there. And everybody's excited. They're going to see Harry Potter 3, Prisoner of Azkaban, which is interesting. I don't know why that was important, but true story. I've literally, like, this dream, I should say, haunted me. It's on my website. I wrote about it. It's back in 2015. And I've been like, I Google Israel and Harry Potter a lot just to see, just to see what's going on. So much so I can tell you that there have been Israel's issues with J.K. Rowling's. There's been a lot of stuff. I can tell you that, like, Harry Potter's, like, buried there or something, supposedly. And I can tell you there's a lot of stuff because over the years I've looked. But what if it had nothing to do with it? I just knew it was a holy site. And ironically, now I think I understand, it was also connected to Nebuchadnezzar, which is why I shared the picture of Nebuchadnezzar, this one. In the dream, okay, I was shown this great, gigantic golden statue, which reminded me of that. And then I was told, Laish, which in the dream I was told it means lion. So you had this great gigantic idol that everyone considered a lion. That sounds a little familiar to me, right? So at one point in the dream, the guardrails come down and everybody starts rushing in. Now I'd forgotten my wallet, so I'm leaving. And somebody that I know who, has been with the channel a long time, is in the dream, was a friend of mine in real life too, outside of YouTube, and came up to me, and he was with somebody else I didn't know who had a laptop. And in the laptop, it was like you opened it up and it looked like it was all bubbling and was red, and it looked like something bad, right? And they were bringing it in. And the guy next to me said, "Oh, dude, it's a bong." And I go, "That doesn't look like a bong to me." That doesn't look like that looks like something that's gonna, that's pretty bad. The guy tells me, who's carrying this, he says, "It's the new Sussman." And then they walk away. So I wake up, and of course, me, because dreams are a big deal to me, I look all this stuff up. I immediately, like 2 days later, I write an essay because this dream really was just so interesting to me. I knew that it was a future that I was seeing. I just didn't know what I was seeing. I didn't witness any terrible explosion or anything else, but there was the concern that this is, something that was a laptop disguised to look like a, laptop, but it was actually a, you know what I mean? It was not a good thing. So I'm searching, and I type in the word Sussman, and I type in laptop, and ironically enough, a year before I had that dream, there was this girl named Lily Sussman who had a laptop and it was shot up by the military. And it was like, here's a picture of it. Because they thought that it was a bomb. A laptop bomb. They thought it was, and it was shot up. And it was like, I guess it was in a Jerusalem Post or something. But I was like, that's really weird. Because here's somebody in my dream that has this thing that looks like a laptop that looks like a bomb. And the guy says it's the new Sussman. Needless to say, I've been concerned. You know, I've been concerned. Well, come on now. That's interesting, don't you think? I believe it's interesting. I mean, what are the odds? That's pretty accurate, okay? That's pretty accurate. I'd like to remind you, long before Elon was with Donald Trump, I put the two of them together, Artemis and Apollo. Then boom, there they are. Long before Tulsi Gabbard, who I thought was going to be the vice president, well, she's the head of, she's probably the most important person right now in his cabinet, Tulsi Gabbard. She's there when she was back leaving the Democratic Party. Robert Kennedy had a dream about Robert Kennedy. Remember that one? Had a weird dream. At one point, I thought, maybe he may end up being president one day. Because he had that strain. And then he gives that beautiful speech, and then everybody's cheering for Robert Kennedy. Maha, MAGA, all of these things that are so supernatural, and they're connected to these it's all so sus, man. Just like that computer was called. So, I get a little concerned. I'm a little worried, but I'm trusting God. I'm trusting God. I had a dream. Dome building. Fenced, coming down. People going crazy, rushing around. Somebody coming in, and there's a giant golden statue. A colossus of a statue. A new heaven and a new earth is coming, I said. I didn't know what the whole witchcraft thing was all about, and now I do. Wow. Interesting. This is, come on, we did a Patreon meetup, and Jennifer was saying, it's like, I live a pretty kind of a, boring life. And I'm like, you're watching this channel. Let me tell you something. Regardless of what you're doing in your life and how exciting it is, I work from home. I go to the gym. I work at the gym. I go to the store. I come home. I clean. I work. I just home, gym, store, home. My wife and I, we're homebodies. We're in bed early. We're up early. You could say that it's a boring life. My life is not boring. Neither is yours. You're God's champion, whether you know it or not. And God's champions, who are they like? They're like Gideon. They're scared, threshing wheat, right? He was threshing wheat. He's all scared. That's a picture, by the way. And what does God say? It says, hey, you're going to go and you're going to take care of stuff. He's like, with who? Oh, take these men. And then he's like, he reduces it from 30,000 to 10,000 or something, 10,000 to 300. He's supposed to take on an army with 300 Israelites? Come on. Doesn't really matter when you got God on your side. You may be scared. You may be freaking out. You may be nervous. I don't know what the future's holding. I got to tell you, if I'm hoping that everything's going to be all right. When Nebuchadnezzar came in, Jeremiah the prophet, he ended up okay, but he ended up in prison, right? I don't know what's coming. I just know that God's in charge, don't you? Well, if you do, if you believe God's in charge, do me a favor. Smash the like. Leave a comment. Get excited. And if things happen, something happens, right? It's like talk, people are worried. Even Shepard, who has oliveandrocket.com. If you want to get some great PJs, they're like artisan PJs. He sunk everything into this company. He's such a great guy. And you go to oliveandrocket.com, get some Feety pajamas. They're like artisan. He designed them all. There's so many wonderful things. He doesn't support the channel or anything else. He supports the channel. I don't make any money telling him this, but he sent me a dream that he had last night, middle of the night, where something goes off in New York City, which I hope does not happen. Because, sometimes these dreams that we have, they don't have to be literal. That's what I always say. It could be something spiritual. And what gives me the most hope is the fact that Nebuchadnezzar's end time dream fulfilled at the inauguration. 111 months, 23 days. Back in 2015. The video that I did says a new heaven and a new earth is on its way. And my goodness, I believe it. Do you? All right, I'm going to go. I love each and every one of you. I'm super excited that the live show worked. I'm going to try to do more live shows because it's just fun. And I get to see you all in the live chat, and I appreciate all the super chats, and I hope that you do. If you want to get the best products, for your home, this is my sponsor, my only sponsor. I know the owner of the company. I know he's a good man. He serves God. He loves God. Okay? It's toxic free. It's environmentally sound, friendly. All these are renewable. They said you enter code Jacob. All the links are in the description. Go to trulyfreehome.com. Enter code Jacob. You get 30% off. They're doing it. They're running a huge special right now. Okay, so you can probably try some stuff out if you want to try it out to begin with for free. I don't know how it works, but just go there in the links to the description. You want to join me on Patreon? We're doing another meetup next Sunday, so long as everything goes well. I'd like to see you there. $5 and up gets you into the Patreon. You can join for free. Everything else I share there is free. Get a copy of The Calling, the novel. These are all the ways that you can support the channel. And I'm grateful to all of you. And I'm just super happy that everything worked out. And I'm sorry for the little glitches in the beginning, but I thank you for sticking with me. And I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Have the best day ever. God bless you. Pray for President Trump. Pray for this country. Pray for your family. Pray for the world. Pray for the world. You know, unless you want someone to be a monster, don't say they're a monster. A tree's known by its fruit. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. Red dye number 3 is gone. Remember what red is? Ruddy. What does that mean? Carnal mind. The blood is on the door. Unless you have that sacrifice, unless you're laying down your soulish nature and you're moving on to good things, not going to be a good thing, right? Just like Madonna said in her Eurovision tour where everything was catching fire, not everybody's going into the future. I want to go into the future, and I want to go in with all of you Israelites. Okay, I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Have the best day ever. And please share the channel around. Make sure you're subscribed still. Do what you got to do. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Adios, everybody.